Greetings. We have another episode of 222 Garage Time for you today. I'm your host, David Scott, taking you along for the ride for my garage projects. I like to spend time in my garage, hence the name. Coming up with projects, building things, building tools, all kinds of stuff. Hopefully I can keep going with this and come up with some interesting garage projects for all to enjoy. You might not be interested in every project that comes along, but I think we'll make it diverse enough to pique the interest of somebody along the way, anybody along the way. Today, at long last, I am getting my air filtration system set up. I know this channel isn't very old, so you'll have to take my word for it that I've been putting this project off for a while. I've been making dust in this garage for a couple of years now, and as it turns out, wood dust is not all that great for your health. So I've been researching that, and I'm probably going to have to be a little more committed to wearing a respirator for some of the things that I do in here, and installing this air filtration system will help keep some of the dust off of my tools and off the floor, and that can help reduce it getting put back into the air. And I just have to do a better job of maintaining the cleanliness and sucking everything up with my shop vac, with my cyclone attachment, and HEPA filter. That helps a lot, but it doesn't get all the stuff that goes in the air initially. And hopefully this air filtration system will help with that problem. It won't take care of all of it, but every little bit helps when it comes to your lung health. So I'm going to unbox it, and I've already cut a piece of 25-inch by 25-inch particle board. My idea behind this is that the place on my ceiling, I'm not sure, I'm going to have to use a stud finder to find the studs. So if I can attach this to the studs, then I can attach the 4 anchor points to this a lot more easily at that point. I think it would just be better to have this as my starting point on the ceiling. I plan to put it in the ceiling just behind my garage door opener. That way I can use the extra plug right, that my garage door opener is plugged into as its power source. So let's go ahead and open this box. Well, I got to talking, I did not mention the brand. This is the Abestorm air filtration system. It is designed for, I believe, 1,350 square feet. My garage is not that big, so this should be overkill, and that's kind of what I wanted. There were similarly priced systems for my garage's shoe print, which I think I figured out to be somewhere in the 500 square foot range, and I decided I wanted to be a little overkill on it for the sake of my lungs and dust extraction and dust filtration. But anyway, let's get this box open. Fragile. As always, I've run into the instructions and a warranty registration card. This feels like a box of hardware. And I'm not wrong. Hardware, remote control, batteries for remote control, some brackets. Okay. Packaging material. Okay, I can see now that I have some space cut into this box. Okay. Almost look like the front of this screen display was coming off, but I shoved it back on there. Okay. Essentially, it's a cylindrical fan with a bunch of MERV 11 filters on it. I have it sitting upside down. I believe this can be used tabletop if you choose, in which case you would have the airflow going up instead of down. I'm going to be mounting it to the ceiling, so I will have the airflow pointed down. So now, as usual, I'll need some time to look over the instructions and then get my camera set up to point towards the ceiling where we're going to put it, where we're going to set it up. So stay tuned for that. I have a few options for how to mount it. I can suspend it from chains, or I can install brackets and mount it directly to the wall or my particle board. I have chosen the chains method, so I will be using these wood screwing hooks. I will first install my particle board onto the ceiling, then I will screw into it with these, and I will install the other hooks onto the filter itself in the four corners and suspend the chains between the two. These brackets and other accessories, these are some sort of expanding bolts. I'm guessing if you don't have solid structural, maybe you can install this over the drywall or something like that. Seems less than ideal. I'm going to attach my particle board to the studs by using a stud finder to find them, and running some deck screws into that, securing this to the stud, and then I will attach the filter to my piece of particle board. Okay.
Whoops, left the audio off again. Just installing the hooks into the filter. Using an adjustable wrench, I'm locking down the locking nut.
I think it's likely a safe bet I will find some studs near where the garage door opener is held. But then again, maybe not. Is this not giving me anything? Try switching it to deep scan. Okay, that's interesting. Going this way. It appears my particle board may be unnecessary after all, because my rafters are just about 24 inches apart. I could probably just drill directly into them and put the wood anchors in. For some reason on the chain, they thought that these cheap temporary keychain style clips that they put on your key at the dealership after when they take your car key from you and attach it to something, they thought those would be enough to hold the weight of the unit. And that's what happened to those under the weight of the unit as I was installing it. Luckily, I had some cheap carabiners laying around that I bought for something else, but they ended up not being big enough to do what I wanted, so they're just kind of laying around the shop. They're not gonna turn into this under the weight of that 27-pound unit. This was a ridiculous idea, Abestorm. I hope you do a better job building your products than you do ordering hardware for it, because this could have been on my head had I not noticed while I was up there that they were coming apart. So rethink your life, Abestorm. Alright, now that I've gotten that gripe out of the way, let's test the remote and see if we can get the unit turned on. fan works very well. It has a lot more airflow than I need for this shop, so I'll be running it on the low setting. There's two settings. The highest setting is for 1,350 square feet. I'll be running it on the lower setting just to keep the noise down, and I don't really need that much airflow for the size of the space. I bought the model mostly because of the 360 degree design. It's got filters on all four sides. Some of their other models are only 3 sides or 2 sides. Other similar brands that I was looking at. I wanted 360 degrees of air filtration. My model is also the, I think I forgot to mention, this is the Abestorm DecDust, DECDUST, the 1350 IG. The IG is the upgraded version that has the ionizing setting, an ionizer setting. I believe that that is worth the extra money that I spent. An ionizer, for those who don't know, sends out charged particles into the atmosphere of the room it's affecting, and those charged particles will attach themselves to your dust. This is important particularly on the very smallest particles, because it is the smallest particles that our mucus system and our lung cannot filter out. They cause the most damage to our bodies. So causing the dust to become heavier with these charged ions, they fall to the ground where they're more easily swept up, vacuumed up. It also gives the dust a less static effect to where it's clinging to your tools, your surfaces, your body. It makes it all around easier to just fall to the ground, get cleaned up, and out of your life, because ultimately really small wood dust particles are quite harmful over prolonged periods, and as much as I love this hobby, I don't want it to cause a problem for my health. I gave up smoking many years ago, and I would hate to still end up with lung cancer due to my woodworking hobby. So that's why it was important to me. I like to spend time in my garage, often making a lot of wood dust all winter long, where I am disinclined to open the garage door and kick all that dust out of here. So under those circumstances, I shelled out the money for a filtration system to help this atmosphere. Now I need to be better about using my respirator when creating a lot of wood dust. I haven't always been very good at that, but I'm starting to see the benefits of taking care of myself in that manner. That about wraps this up. I did not end up needing to use my piece of particle board. I didn't think the rafters would line up well enough, and that must have been intentional, the spacing, because it worked out just fine to where I was able to put my hooks directly into the rafters and get it suspended that way without the need for attaching this to the ceiling, which would have made the install a little more difficult. So I'm glad I didn't end up having to do that. But now I have a 25-inch by 25-inch piece of plywood that I needed to find a new thing to do with, and I have been considering building one of those flip carts to get a couple of tools off of my workbench that that the camera is sitting on and looking in my direction. Actually, it's mounted to my shelving, but my workbench doesn't have a whole lot of workspace, and I think I'll go ahead and show that just a little bit. I have my jointer planer combo on one side of the bench, and my Delta 9-inch bandsaw on the other side of the bench, as well as a belt sander and a grinding stone, and just not a whole lot of space on this particular workbench. Now, of course, I still have my woodworking bench, but I would like to reclaim some of this space So I think a very near future project will be creating a flip cart that I can put two of these tools, and I'm thinking my belt, my bandsaw rather, I might even be able to get the belt sander on with it, or the grinding wheel, hard to say. On one, but definitely the bandsaw on one side and the planer joiner on the other side, and if there's space for it to flip over, so depending on which tool you're using, and that will free up some space on my workbench, and I would very much like that. Also, it would get both of those tools over to my better shop vac with HEPA filter and cyclone dust extractor setup. I would like to make that more easily accessible to both of those tools. Currently, I've just been taking the planer over to the table saw by hand, and that gets me by, but it would be nice if it had its own home. So stick around. I'm not sure when I'll get to that. I have a few other projects in mind ahead of that, but that's one that's on my mind, and maybe that's what I'll use this piece for. And maybe I'll cut a few more, and maybe I'll do more than one, because I'm sure I'm not done getting tools for this hobby at this point. If there's anything about this air filtration system that I didn't cover, feel free to leave a comment and ask questions and all that sort of thing. I'm hoping to interact with the community, and I look forward to continuing making products, eventually I'll get into something that I sell. I've done a few things on Marketplace, and I think I'll probably be working on some flower boxes to build up a supply for when flower box season comes around. I won't be going overboard on it because I'm not convinced that my little town can support a large inventory of something like that, but I think it can support a few sales. So I'll be working on an inventory of that. So I'll be doing some flower box builds. I'll probably be doing that flip cart. I might build another cooler that you may have seen in the background of previous videos, possibly for sale. And if it doesn't sell, I'll use it myself. So I'll probably do another one of those in the near future. So stay tuned. There's more to come. And thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It certainly helps fuel my ambition to keep making these, and I really look forward to keeping going with this. So, see you later.